What's up, guys? Gene Fetty back at you with another episode of the All Access podcast from Dent Repair Now. We're back. It's wintertime. MTE is ticking up on us very quickly. In fact, I leave in like 8 days whenever you're listening to this. I fly down Tuesday night. So, super stoked. Can't wait to be there. So, I want to make a correction. A few episodes ago, it might have been the big 2-hour tool show, I made a comment about Kevin Halewood having his years wrong, and he should have hit 25 years and 25 had he planned it out, but he was off by one. Jean corrected me. Because of COVID, it would have been 25 years, but there was no show in 2021, right? COVID year, whatever it was. Anyways, Kevin, rest in peace. Sorry for picking on you. You had it right. COVID screwed it all up. Anyways, guys, this is episode number 53 of the show. We're getting after it. I didn't know what to talk about today. Honestly, not even 100% all in that I wanted to do it today. In fact, me and Melissa were out yesterday, and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to do. I don't even really want to do a show. I don't have a burning reason to do a show, but I told you guys we're doing a show every week all year, so I have to do a show. I don't have a choice. I've not given myself that out, and I'm certainly not going to break my streak 3 episodes into the year. So, right, we talked about setting goals earlier, an episode or two, whatever it is. You listen to it. Anyways, we talked about some goal setting and New Year's resolution, so on and so forth. Motivation will only get you so far, right? And I've heard this a bunch of times. It makes a lot of sense, and it's really what you got to do. Discipline is what will take you far. That's what will get you to where you want to be. This show is a disciplined show for me, right? This particular episode. I love doing the show. I love talking about all tools and techniques and business, and I love all that stuff. This show yesterday felt like more of a grind than today. Today, when I left the house and walked into the shop, like, I'm fired up, let's go. But there was a serious lack of motivation to get this show done yesterday. I had to engage my discipline to get there. And really, that's what it comes down to if you're going to execute on anything, is motivation will only take you so far. You have to be disciplined, and you just got to do it. Now, as a professional procrastinator, I will tell you a lot of times that I am pushing that down to the wire. You guys probably see that with the show when I tell you, hey, it's 11 o'clock at night, Sunday night, but I'm recording the show, but I'm beating the deadline. This is not 11 o'clock at night. This is Sunday afternoon when I planned to record the show. Like, this is not a last minute move, but right, like, getting it done inside of the deadlines that you set is where magic happens, right? Going back to the power list we talked about a couple episodes ago. Having that list down, the things you need to do to get done, to work through your list, to check through, are mini deadlines. That helps motivate me, and I'm certain that'll help motivate you if you add that to your list. Shout out. I'm not going to do names. I don't want to embarrass anybody, right? But last week on the show, I talked about your work's great, but nobody knows who you are. I saw several people that I know are listeners put out videos with their face on it, and I'm not used to seeing your face on video. That is what I'm talking about. Super proud that you got on there and did it. Just keep doing it. I promise that it will continue to get easier, and it'll become second nature, and you will just plop a camera on top of your computer and be able to chat away like this, right? Hats off, right? Action is where it is at. So we are leading up to MTE. First, right before we get into my, discipline was the thought behind today's show. I gave you my 2 cents on that. It's not that hard. Just freaking do it, even when you don't want to do it. But coming up to MTE, right, we're going to do a little bit of tool talk. Totally lost my train of thought. Oh, that's it. Right. So I had mentioned that I opened the podcast show on Radio Row first thing Friday morning at the show. I think we're 10 o'clock on air. I would love to have a few listeners come on. Give me like 5 or 10 minutes, just a quick little interview, introduce yourself, talk about it, talk about your business, talk about MTE. If you've got tools, you probably won't hop on the show because you'll be busy selling tools. But anyways, reach out to me if you think you would like to sit down and just talk for a couple minutes on the show at MTE. If I can get a handful of you guys together, that's the episode I'm going to do there, is a little roundtable talk at MTE. So hit me up in the DMs. Most of you, or a lot of you, have my cell phone. Shoot me a text. Shoot me an email, gene@dentrepairnow.com. Hit me up. I want to have you on the show. So, MTE is coming. We had our big 2-hour tool show where it was like sort of quick. Here's this, check it out, here's what I like, bing, bang, boom. We had some new tools, we had some old tools. Today, I've got a handful of new tools that I have at least teased about or made funny ASMR videos about. That if you haven't watched, go watch, comment on it, share it. I've got a brand new tool that I thought I was going to get to be first, but Craig with Anson beat me to the punch. I guess he does have a slightly bigger tool audience than I do, but I'm super excited for these. A tool, actually a couple of tools from Ukraine that my buddy Miro told me about, and I ordered in and kind of digging. So I want to show you those. And a little update on the new Micro Hub. I think it's Micro Hub. The new Micro Hub from Anson. I want to give you a little update now that I've got to put some reps on it, and we'll go from there. So, without further ado, let's talk about some tools, do a little tool review. Let's get this Ukraine stuff out first. So, Miro and his wife came in for our Dents for Kids meetup here, and then we ended up at dinner with them and a few other people after the meetup. We're talking tools, talking shop, and I think it was Stefan said, "Hey, I got that door edge, or that edge dolly you were talking about from the dude in Ukraine. I think it's pretty awesome." And I'm like, "Whoa, what's this dolly from Ukraine? Like, I need to know." And Miro is an amazing technician. So, like, if he's got a tool that he thinks is pretty badass, I definitely want to know about it and put it in my arsenal. So, the brand is Cult, C-U-L-T. And I'm not sure that he ships a bunch to the U.S., but, like, pretty cool tools. So, let's compare and contrast edge dollies. Excuse me, grabbing my tool. Should have been a little bit more planned out. Grabbing some tools. So these, we'll do a little ASMR for the audio listeners. These are two of the Dentcraft edge dollies, which I think I talked about in the 2-hour show. And if I didn't, you need to put these in your kit, and they're incredibly cheap for what they are. So edge dollies are awesome. This edge dolly from Cult is pretty cool. So decent radius there, sort of like red Dentcraft radius. Slightly less or straighter edge there. Little hook so you can work backwards as well. And my favorite part that I've used and loved so far is this little notch. So this little notch, if you can picture, right, like if this is the edge of your panel, right, and you're bent down, you can now go onto the edge and make some very controlled knocks up with that. So not a game changer, not anything like that, just a simple, also very skinny, right? So maybe about half the thickness of the Dentcraft edge dolly. Pretty genius little design. Check that out. So just search Cult Tools. I found them on Instagram and DM'd them through there and did my order. So I did this. I actually did this paddle because I'm a paddle junkie. This really is more to just hang on my wall than actually use it. But nice little build. Looks like it's oak. I can't read Ukrainian, but that says something. Maybe if you speak Ukrainian, you can say what that says. But anyways, nice little paddle. Sort of falls in the middle of my mix. I would go generally Stinger and then up to VIP. I don't know that I would make a stop in the middle here, but regardless, it's going to look cool hanging on my hammer wall this way that we are in the process of building out. Anyways, super cool. And I also picked up, I believe this is the stainless? I don't think it's titanium. It's too heavy to be titanium. Picked up this stainless blending hammer from him as well, because why not have more hammers? Little different handle design. I like it though. You can index, and that is like my biggest pet peeve with hammers is these round handles that don't index well. This is very clear where you're heading with it. Interchangeable tips, standard 5/16 threads. Right, there we go. Yep, standard 5/16 threads. I like the weight. I didn't weigh it. Heavier than my Glexo, lighter than my Fast PDR. So I'm gonna guess somewhere in this 6 ounce ish weight. Digging this head, very similar to like a VIP round head. Nothing too crazy. This one makes me a little nervous. I've made a few strikes with it. I think I would like to see it a little bit more rounded off, but nonetheless, another cool hammer to add to my collection. I dig it, right? Can you ever have too many hammers? Some people might say yes. I say you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Right, so those Cult tools, the paddle, the hammer, and that edge dolly, pretty cool stuff. Again, nerding out, Dent stuff, but we all love tools. So also shout out to Ed Van Dyne, I think, not Van Dyke, Van Dyne. I need to look for the 2 tips for the Fast PDR hammer that I didn't buy that you swore by. So noted, and I will be looking for those at MTE. That's on my hit list to pick them up and put them on my Fast PDR hammer that I enjoy as a heavier hammer, but it is not sitting on top of my disaster tool cart. So I'm not going to grab it and show you, right? It's the Fast PDR blending hammer. Next up, let's talk about, well, since we already pulled these in, let's talk about the micro hub from Anson. I believe it's Anson, could be Tequila. It's all Anson at this point. And whilst we're at it, let's talk about it. So we're at it. I did like a first look YouTube video. If you want to dive a little bit deeper, I don't know, it's 5 or 10 minutes long. The upgrade or the update to this head is, no, this is an end game here, right? So it's so hard to work backwards on a camera. The end game has, right, those gears which fit all of our standard hub tools that we've been using for years. Now the end game, by design, that rotates out of the way, so it's not the same teeth all the way. But it's kind of a short tooth, and you can get potentially some slippage. They really upgraded on the micro, a much, much bigger tooth. See that? You can really see that in there. A much bigger tooth to get a better bite, especially on the small handle. I've already had and this is not a slam on them, I had a Dent Slayer handle explode, like it ripped the teeth right out because the teeth were too small, even smaller than like on the end game. Now, A1 warrantied it, as they always do. It's amazing stuff. But this is a serious upgrade, where you can see a deeper tooth here. And when this thing locks in, man, it is all the way locked in. You've got a great bite. I want to say Matt was even sort of extending this just to stress test it, and didn't have any failures at all. So the new micro handle available at Anson is pretty killer. It doesn't rotate the way the Endgame does, but it's old school. You still get whatever it is, 12 points of movement around. Some of the tools that I picked up with it. First, my favorite, it's a go-to, sort of reminds me of back in the day. So back in the day, my first favorite door tool was a 5/16 J hook, fixed loop handle in line with the J from A1. Made a lot of money with that tool. You probably could still buy it. But, right, fixed handle, tore the arms up. Then I switched to a original indexable ratcheting handle. And now, right, we switched to the door lords as doors have gotten bigger, and the Endgame is my door tool stuff. However, it was always nice with that 5/16 rod to be able to like shoot down even the tightest of door gaps and still get into places. Well, this is quickly becoming a new favorite door tool. This is I think that is 5/16 micro hub end, right? Micro hub. Blade tip. So much like, get that up in here, much like my original A1, right, where it's just a blade, which is nice because I can get in and get a good flat push. I can also, if I got a brace, sneak down to some portion in between the brace and the outer skin. If you're at the edge, right, because that is shaved down like so, I can also take this and sneak out to the edge of the panel. And because it's 5/16, if the brace is up higher in the door, I've got less that I need to fight to sneak down in between the brace and the window to get below the brace. I don't know if they're calling these the micro door lords, but anyways, the micro door tools, this is quickly becoming a favorite for sure, right? So add that to your arsenal, or like check that out at MTE. Definitely needs to be on your hit list. These arched brace tools, nice and sharp, great for finishing. Great drive, right? It's a good solid steel or solid stainless tool. What's nice is instead of just being fixed, right, part of the indexable handle thing, right, instead of being fixed, if I need more torque, or, right, because you're taking this and you're sneaking up into a hole and like so, if you need a little bit more reach or you're getting kind of tight, right, we can just slide this down and still get good drive. If it's a slightly bigger opening and you would have normally been over twisting your arm, no big deal. Index it up, and now when you start to over twist, you're getting into where you can load the tool up. Great little set of tools. Christina, Craig, if you guys are listening, Vinny, I would like to see these in a more blunt option. And also, not from Anson, but from Dent Reaper, I saw that the Hale's Angel tools, which are an absolute must-have in my opinion for Hale, are now available in micro hub connection. So check that out. So if we got Sharp and then Anson, right, give me a blunt, and then the Dent Slayer Hale's Angels, killer combo. The Rattlesnake Whale Tails. I've been a Dentcraft, I still am, like a Dentcraft whale tail guy, probably forever. I don't really know what the improvement is on there unless we can get a collab between Dentcraft and Anson and we get these handles for it, right? Like they're my go-to. However, much like this curved brace tool sort of changed how we can sneak up in braces, I am digging the Rattlesnake arched whale tail for working in braces. You're not cutting your knuckles up, you're not beating yourself up. And same thing, sometimes you're in a slightly larger brace and you're trying to twist, and we only have so much power before we're getting out of our big muscles. Not a problem anymore with the indexing handle. Put that over. Now we're working big muscles instead of wearing out the small muscles. Digging it. So all of these micro hub tools are absolutely must-haves. I can't wait to see what more they have added to the collection when I get to MTE. And then last but not least in this collection, and I remember when these came out and I did not buy them. Like I was like, I don't know, like I can get a whale tail wherever. Probably not going to need to sneak that in much. The Lucky 7s. Is that a 7 or is that a 7? I think that's a 7 for you guys. Anyways, the Lucky 7s. I have since, picking these up, grabbed been through a couple of holes where I wouldn't have been able to get a whale tail before. And I've been able to, put a little tweak on here, get up and in. And then I've got my whale tail move, this 1 inch or so, with a whale tail style push through a small existing, we don't drill, existing hole with these with these tools. The Lucky 7s, like check them out. Maybe not a go-to tool, but something as we are building out or as you're building out your arsenal, this is a tool that definitely has a place in the box for some of those tricky, difficult to get to areas. All right, so next up are the new micro tips from Black Plague. Right, so they come on this holder. Speaking of Miroslav, Miro made an awesome like cinematic style video with these. We made a really fun dad joke style video and ASMR with these, so go check those out. Go check that video out if you haven't had a chance to see it. I've got a lot of comments, not on the post. The comment on the post, but anyways, I've got a lot of DMs or even in person, like, oh, that video cracked me up. It was hilarious. Tools are amazing. The tips are amazing. It's a great value. So I think it was like, call it like round about $250 shipped, something like that. There's 23 tips. I know that because I thought there was 24, and this fell over and tips fell off, and I was looking for one more tip because I only counted 23 for like 10 minutes. And then Mac he counted the markings because it tells you what tip to go where on here. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I only see 23 tips. I've got to be missing one because who would make an odd number set of tips? That's weird. It should be 24. And then he counted the spots and he's like, Dad, there's 23. So I know for sure there's 23 tips. And my quick Dent guy math, 23 times 10 would be 230. So you're only talking about a little over $10 a tip and the magnetic holder here. I've talked earlier in other episodes about the Dent Slayer, call it mini R4 tip. This is the mini R4 tip from Black Plague. In essence, the same tip. Man, that gets you into some places that you just can't get an R4 tip to normally. Really, really a cool tip. I'm excited to try and haven't come across something I need yet, but I'm excited to try these two crease tips. So we've got, I think it's round shovel and straight shovel, but I'm really excited to give these tips a try on a crease and see what they'll do. It's all made out of what I would imagine is just like a regular tool steel. They remind me of the finish that's on a typical Dent Craft style tip. It's there. This tip, the 30S. I don't know what the 30 is. Oh, there we go. I don't know what the 30 is, but the S is sharp. So this is like needle sharp. In fact, you can see, I think you can see, they even have a little bit of wear on there, that tip, oh, get back there. That tip is so sharp that it will let you actually not just get inside of orange peel, but push inside of orange peel texture without directly affecting the texture on the outside of the orange peel, if that makes sense. Like, so I was finishing this absolute ball buster fender on a Volkswagen. Also, side note, what happened to Volkswagen's metal? Did it go to garbage when I wasn't paying attention? I do not like how it pushes, and I've always liked working on Volkswagen metal. Always. Like, it was one of my first accounts I ever landed was a Volkswagen store. So I've done a lot of them. Something's going on with the metal. If you know, or if you've noticed that Volkswagen metal's been bad, like, drop a comment, hit me up, let's talk about it. Maybe we could like drown our sorrows in a cup of coffee or a beer about how bad that metal is. Anyways, this fender took me to school. Certainly ended, or towards the end was way more textured than I want it to be. I remembered listening to Keith on the PDR College podcast talk about this tip and how well it worked. So they just happened to come in while it was here. So I went and grabbed this, and that was the first one I loaded up. Man, I made short work of getting in and cleaning up the textured area that I was fighting. Really, really great stuff. He's also got in here tips for like the ultra soft cap. We've got just some other ball tips, some nice different flat radii. I think it's radii. Great little selection of tips. Really allows you to get into places that a standard tip won't, or where you don't need that kick. Like that extra half inch makes a big difference. These are cool, and you can almost thread them in, at least on the tools that I've tried it on so far. You can almost thread them in to where it's just the tip. I know somebody just laughed. But anyways, it's just the actual tip of the tip sticking out to work with. My only complaint, and it's not really a complaint because like at least he gave us a nice holder for these. I'm not the most organized person in the world. Like just it is what it is. I'm working on getting better, but I'm not there. I generally keep my working tips on top of my cart. I use a Milwaukee pack out. I have the Willy Quick topper and the Anson silicone insert. Well, there's nowhere in there that this really sits, but I was like, okay, like we can let it ride on the side and sit there. Because these just sit on the face and they're not down in, I found that it's easy for them to get bumped off sitting up there. I have to, in order to use this, take these ends off, right, and stick it down in a drawer. More of a pet peeve than anything. I'm half contemplating, and maybe I'll sacrifice, like this is a magnet bar, maybe I will sacrifice a Harbor Freight one and see if I can't drill some holes to be able to get this to sit down in. And if that works, then I'll drill the holes in this one so I don't kill this one. But anyways, Keith, amazing job on these tips. I can't wait to try them all out. I really can't wait to get a crease to get in there with that flat shovel and rounded shovel tip to see how they push. And like the R4 tips are amazing. And that 30S, dude, you might want to make a full-size tip in the 30S while you're at it. That was good stuff. Really detailed, fine stuff. Man, I love it. I love it. All right, definitely take a look at those at the show. Also, I think he is debuting his super straight tabs that we have tested. Good tab, a very sharp pulling tab. Like for me, they have become like a pre-stretched, stretchy tab. So if you've been doing glue pulling a long time, you know occasionally you will get a tab that will stretch and then it just won't break. It stays stretched. And that tab not only hooks up, but I think it's probably something along the lines of like dead center technology. That thinned out shaft will also help pull a sharper high spot, if that makes sense. Anyways, stretchy tabs are something special. I think it's a side bonus to what Keith was designing for, a side bonus that they pull the same way a stretchy tab pulls. And when you're into a sharp dent that you really just cannot get to flip, right, to pull that pit, the super straight tabs have saved my butt on several dents. Now, his design on them is to, and I think he even did a video on them, like as you're pulling, right, like let's pretend this is a slide hammer, and we're here. As you're pulling, you are not pulling perfectly away. Even if you go with the Matt Boyette tricep pull, you're still on an arch or an arc. You're creating an arc. The super straight tabs have a pyramid design. I guess that's a pyramid, 4 sides. Yeah, I think it's a pyramid. Anyways, a pyramid design that as your adapter comes up, it automatically self-centers in the adapter so that you can't pull. Let's go around. So that you can't pull lopsided, right? So see, I can make a lot of sideways movement. I can make a lot of sideways movement with a standard tab and a standard head. With the super straight tabs, because of the pyramid design, by design, as you pull, whether it's with a robo or a mini lifter or a slide hammer, it makes you slide up the shaft, and as you come to the head, get perfectly straight to make a better pull. Now, one of my lines when I'm teaching glue pull is the straighter you pull, the stronger you can pull. So, by design, Keith's new super straight tabs will force a super straight pull, which theoretically, right, if my theory is correct, if Keith's theory is correct, will create a stronger pull because it is a straighter pull. So I think he's done a couple explainer videos on them. Go check out his videos. And certainly, again, while you're over at the booth getting your micro tips, let's get that branding right. While you're over at the booth getting your micro tips, check out his new super straight tabs and get after it. So we're just about ready to wrap up. Talked about that. Next up, I just got these, and I will tell you that I am so excited about them that I almost want to go take a headliner down and drop a sunroof assembly just to see how well they work. Can you guess what tool I'm talking about? If you don't have them, you need to get them. So what I'm talking about is the Sundial sunroof helper removal thingamajigger. Anyways, we did an interview with Mark. Mark Reed is the creator. We did an interview with Mark at MTE last year. I'm sure it's on one of the channels somewhere. It might be on AAI stuff, and we're transitioning some of that YouTube stuff into here. Anyways, this is the original Sundial tool. So it is an M something. I guess that he's smarter than I am. And he found out that all sunroofs use this size and thread bolt. And they are either a bolt or a stud. And he created a bolt with a coupler, right, that you can go on. He has a bead welded in there so you can't over thread and poke a hole in the roof. I know I shared some videos, or at least some pictures, over the summer using this. I was able to drop and reinstall a pano roof in an expedition by myself in like I had it back up in 5 minutes. I didn't need any help. Right, I was there. So these go on, thread on, and then right, you thread these up, and then as you're coming down, you're threading this down, holding up. Here, go to the next one, go to the next one. Love it. Always a little bit of a pain in the butt to deal with that fine thread, but by design, it's the fine thread that it needs to be. I was thinking to myself, man, I wonder if there was a way that you could like disengage and just make it slide up and down, like maybe the bolt on the end. Anyways, not a tool designer. Mark reached out to me about a week ago, and he said, hey, we've got a new tool coming out. I'm going to send it to you. Tell me what you think. And he didn't give me any hints. So I'm like, well, I hope it's something sundial related, but we will see. So I don't know that they're called sundial 2s or what they're called, but for the sake of this, we're going to call this the sundial 2. So same coupler on the end, same bead, so you don't overthread and hit the roof. However, new and improved red knobs. I'm just kidding. I mean, they're red, and that's how you would identify it. But check this out. I don't know how they did it. I'm not a machinist, but they put a button in, so I can push the button, and guess what it does? Disengages the threads, let it go. It'll click right back on, and then you can fine tune. But now you can go big moves very quickly. Like instead of the old hooks across and like ratchet and bring it down, and you need like 3 guys to hold this up and pull the strap. It's a pain in the ass. These make sunroof cartridges a one-man show for sure. And that button that disengages, killer. So I think these may be available at Anson. I saw Craig pimping them out. Mark's website is sundialtool.com. Pretty sure it's Sundial Tool. I will make sure the right link is in the description, show notes, whatever you call it, wherever you're looking. I'll make sure the right link to Sundial's website is in there. These are awesome. So I got a set of 4. I believe these are debuting at MTE, but the new Sundial 2.0s with the disengaging thread. Look at that. I mean, like, then you push the button, it doesn't screw in. You let go of the button, and it's right back to being a screw. That is freaking fantastic. We did a lot of hail cars last summer. These were absolutely amazing for dropping sunroofs. In fact, I think I've got at least 3 full sets of the original sundials because you could oftentimes have multiple sunroofs down in a car, or some of those big ones like that Pano on the Expedition. I put 6 on, like all 4 corners and 2 in the middle because I didn't want anything to bow. The sundial sunroof tools are money. So that is it. Some new cool tools to check out at MTE. Maybe you'll get lucky and the Cult Tools will be there somewhere. If not, look for them on Instagram and check it out. He's got some cool stuff. And again, this cool little edge dolly is awesome. Really, I figured since I was going to pay shipping from Ukraine, I might as well put some other stuff in the box, which is why I got the paddle and the hammer. So, but I was really going after this. New cool stuff to show you. I've talked to Jean. Level Up is going to be a go. He's got the syllabus put together. I am working on the landing page. Hopefully before the next episode, before episode 54, I will have the landing page done and it will be up and ready to go. We are having eight spots is all we are doing. If we don't have at least 5 people sign up, the show's not going to, or the class is not going to happen. So 1, get in there and get it so we can get this thing going. And 2, don't mess around because 8 spots will go fast. I really, truly believe that we're going to sell this out. It's going to be 3 days, February 26, 27, 28. That is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? So you're taking less time off of work and we're not burning you out. Price is going to be $3,000. Again, I will get that landing page up hopefully before episode 54 comes out. That's that. Don't forget MTE 2025 Beginner's Day. I'm speaking in the afternoon. Glue Pull 101. I will show you exactly how to get strong, effective pulls every single time and become a great glue puller. On Thursday, putting that Kiko shirt back on, unlocking and staying unlocked for your repairs, using lateral tension to make your dents easier, and debuting some new tools from Kiko. You are not going to want to miss that. And in the afternoon, we've got the Shop Owners Roundtable. Myself and Matt Moore are going to co-host, co-MC with Andy and Amanda Patrick of Dapper Dent Repair and Mr. Doug Hillius of Dent Solutions out of Seattle. It's really going to be a great show. It's a little shorter than last year. I think we got 45 minutes. You might stretch that to an hour if you're there. But the last two ones have been standing room only. So make sure you get there early, get your seat. We are excited to see you. And with that, let's see if I can make this cool little outro since we had the intro. Let me see if I can't get this cool little outro to do it. Follow us on social media. Guys, thanks for listening. I will see you on the next show.